I'm not doing it.
Doing what?
Having any more guests on for a while. 3 weeks in a fucking row we had guests. What? Why? Are we becoming one of those podcasts that's like legit and people want to be on? Like, what is happening?
I don't know, man. Everybody wants that
DPW exposure.
Yeah, that bump.
It's a different kind of exposure we give them. We give them a deep.
More of a personal exposure.
Personal exposure, yes. Not that I don't mind having guests on. It's fun and stuff, but it's like we have to prep and...
Mm-hmm.
Well, Matt Holland was back because I just got to drink a lot, but...
Yeah.
We had Nick Ulanowski on. He, he actually had stuff to talk about with his book and stuff. It's some deeper talk, and I'm just like, I don't think we can have a guest on after this for a little bit just because I need a break from being serious. And not that we're overly serious, but it's just like,
Well, like you said, it's more into the editing and like the post-production and stuff that you have to deal with.
Yeah, and just we'll have to like be more serious with promoting those episodes because I have to tag people. And what is Caleb gonna do? Can't we just be really famous and people do that for us?
And then also the because there always seems to be some new wrinkle or snag whenever try to get the person like on whatever in the
every time. For some reason, I just hit the video button on the fucking Google Chats, and something goes wrong every time.
And it's something different each time.
Yeah, it's always something different. I don't know why it can't be simple like in the old days. Anyway, Spencer, that's all I really had to gripe about.
Yeah?
Yep. Unless you had something to gripe about, that's all I had to gripe about.
Just the normal things to gripe about.
I'll save the rest of the talk for the actual episode. Then.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we'll make this a short one so I don't have to edit it and I can have a fucking break. Oh, do I get a break though? Because I got, 3 Murakami episodes I got to edit now. Yeah, hey, Caleb.
Well, you could have been working on those before.
Well, I guess we should announce that. I think we did before, but since they haven't come out yet, we are doing a Murakami Minute. We are doing Hear the Wind Sing and Pinball 1973. Murakami's first 2 novels, both of them are novella length, so don't worry, you could read them in a week. We'll be dropping the first episode Friday, which is just the introduction episode, and then we do 1 episode for Hear the Wind Sing, 1 episode for Pinball, and they were both fun reads. I liked them. So check those out on Fridays for 3 weeks, I guess. If I put them up.
In the near future.
In the near future. This week, coming week. This drops on Tuesday, Friday. So you better be on it. You better fucking subscribe, subscribe, hit the buttons.
Smash the buttons.
Smash the buttons like it's your stepsister who's stuck in the dryer. Smash it. Is that gross? That's all I see on those things anymore. So anyway, folks, stick around. We have a wonderful, super intellectual show for you today.
No, we don't.
Yeah, probably not. You are listening to the Drunken Penalty Podcast. I'm your host, Caleb James. With me today, Spencer, the Zephyr from Zimbabwe Church. Is Zephyr a word? I should probably look that up.
Yeah.
I literally pointed at the globe from a distance, and I could see the tip of Africa, and I just said Zimbabwe. So that's the name you get. Let me look to see if Zephyr is a word. I don't know many Z words.
That's what I was wondering, what you going to pull out of your ass for that one.
There's a Zepho. Ooh, this is...
What's like the big like blimp plane things? Is that what those are?
No, I don't know. That ain't right. That's a sure name. There's a beer. Are you a beer? I don't think Zephyr is a word.
No.
Oh, shit. So I gotta come up with another one. Spencer, the Zimbabwe Zero Church. Oh, man, sorry. Z words. Zany, zappy, zenith, zigzag, zebra. The zebra. I need a verb, though. I can't. What's a Z verb? Zephyr. Zephyr is a word. I'm not stupid. What does it mean, though? Zephyr, a slight wind, a zest, a tart, spicy quality. Zero, the mathematical symbol 0. Or no, that's just favorite Z words. Oh, come on. All right. Let me look up Zephyr. This will take up most of the episode. It had a P. That's why I missed it. Zephyr, a soft, gentle breeze. Spencer is a soft, gentle breeze of Zimbabwe. That's actually way more
That's nice.
lovely. Where's that breeze coming from? It didn't say stinky.
Yeah.
Just soft. So, in between my readings, we kind of talked about these, but I didn't really go into detail because we had fucking guests for 3 weeks. But I have read, accidentally, maybe, I've dipped my toes in the Shakespearean water. I know In the past, I threatened it.
Yeah.
I've flirted with it.
Well, before you get into that, I was wondering if this was going to be your big, like, episode of bragging and of finally finishing
Jerusalem. You can say it now. It's done.
Because you finished it a while ago, but with
Didn't
all
get to talk about it.
all the guests, you couldn't really talk about
I literally finished it right before we had our first guest of the year on. Not of the year. Was it on the year? I don't know.
No, I don't think of the year.
But the first guest in recent months. Yeah, I have to talk about that too. I'm going to do an IRC on that by myself, but I need a break. I need distance.
Yeah.
I need to be able to...
Need some closure.
Yeah, I need, once I get through the therapy and stuff, I can go back and, look at it with almost like it happened to somebody else. Like, somebody else read that book, and I was just there to witness. So I finished Jerusalem finally after a 6-month exodus of that, and it was rough. I really enjoyed it, but I hated it at the same time. Never felt that about a book before. I wanted to kill Alan Moore, but I wanted to praise him to the heavens as well.
But also damn his soul.
Damn his soul, but then also kind of hope he writes another giant Jerusalem. Just because
Jerusalem Part 2. Would you read it?
Yeah, I would, and I would hate it. But I like when people challenge not just themselves, but the literary world in general. When someone goes out and goes, I'm going to do something ridiculous. So you think of a David Foster Wallace Infinite Jest. I'm never going to read that fucking book, but I'm glad it exists. I will read Ulysses because that's on my list, but even if I say, fuck this, I'm glad it exists. Finnegan's Wake, nonsense, but I am glad that somebody did something like that because it shows what can be done. It's important that these things, limits are broken and boundaries are pushed, and we discover new ground thanks to these people who are not afraid to traverse the scary waters that no one else has gone through. Now, Jerusalem, he really just used a lot of literary devices that have already existed. He didn't necessarily tread new ground with that, but he did combine them all in one fucking book.
He just used them all instead of using one or two that you normally find in a story. He just uses them all at one time.
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough going for a while, but I'm glad I did it. I leveled up definitely because you remember me saying, and we've even covered Shakespeare on the podcast a little bit. I think I did a reading from Macbeth and didn't understand it and got mad immediately, like the stupid chimp I am. Well, after reading Jerusalem, I leveled up so hard, and I needed a palate cleanser. And for some reason, A Midsummer Night's Dream, which I bought when I was in Columbus at, I think it's the Loft bookstore, they had these cool Macmillan collector's editions, which I end up buying a bunch of those now. I just really like because it was real small. You know how I like the little books for some reason, little Hobbit-sized books. And they had A Midsummer Night's Dream, and I always wanted to read that because it seemed like an easier one and a more fun one. So I was like, you know what? If I get this, in the little book form, instead of getting the giant whole Shakespeare collection, which I can easily get from Barnes & Noble, but then that's overwhelming, like Jerusalem was. It's this huge giant book, and it's tiny font. No, this has an introduction, explains it, has a glossary that'll tell you all the words that Shakespeare used and what they mean. So I read that, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was really funny, and I found it not challenging at all, and I read it pretty quickly, like a day or two. It's not long work. It's 60-something pages in that little book. Then I watched a couple summary videos and different things on that, and I was like, yay. And then we read, I think that's when we read Hear the Wind Sing, and then I needed, I was like, maybe I'll just start reading a Shakespeare play after each one of these. So I read Macbeth, the big one. Now, we discussed briefly when I read The Crimson Cage, was that it? Which is a graphic novel where it depicts the story of Macbeth as wrestling, old school 80s wrestling.
Yeah.
Super fun, which when I read Macbeth, the actual Macbeth unabridged, I thought about the whole time. It really helped. Reading that helped cement because I'd be like, what character is this? Who's doing what? And I'd be like, oh yeah, think about the wrestling.
Yeah.
And it brought it all together. Because I didn't realize that until after reading Macbeth as well. So many things are based on Macbeth straight up. One of my favorite, I guess it's a samurai movie, Akira Kurosawa's Throne of Blood is, because I remember watching it, I was like, this seems like Macbeth, but I never read Macbeth, so I didn't know, but I was like, this seems like Macbeth. It's actually a direct, not translation, but direct adaptation of Macbeth, but with samurai, feudal Japan fighting and stuff.
That sounds cool.
It's awesome.
And that's just an awesome title.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the Throne of Blood. So I read Macbeth, and that was, I won't lie, that was more challenging. That was more like, okay, this was Shakespeare. I didn't understand a lot of what I was reading at times and had to slow down, look things up. But I thoroughly enjoyed that one. I think I like A Midsummer Night's Dream better just because it's more fun and
it seems like
fantastical.
Yeah, like in like because like what
they just got fairy folk causing mischief, whereas Macbeth is very serious. And here's what fucking grinds my gears, Spencer. So I wanted to watch an adaptation of Macbeth, a movie that would be a more direct movie. I didn't want to watch an older one, so I looked up new ones. Turns out Denzel Washington did one in 2021 called The Tragedy of Macbeth.
Oh, yeah.
He plays Macbeth, and it was directed by one of the Coen brothers. I watched the trailer of it. It's black and white, but it looks fucking amazing. And I watched a couple scenes on YouTube, and I'm like, this is awesome. It's an Apple TV exclusive.
Oh.
I can't rent it. I can't buy it. I can't do anything but watch it on fucking Apple TV, which I don't have. So I have the app on Roku, so I brought it up on my TV. They have a free trial.
Okay.
I did this last weekend. Fucking cool. Sign up for the stupid 3 months free trial, watch this movie, cancel it. Wouldn't you know it, Caleb, who's never had any Apple TV or anything Apple other than the iTunes for the podcast, which isn't even under the email that I put in for the thing, they said, you have already used up this subscription. You cannot have a free subscription now. I said, yo, motherfuckers, you're lying. You just don't want me to have it free. So why can't I watch The Tragedy of Macbeth? I don't want Apple TV for a month, even 1 month, just to watch one movie. That sucks. So I'm in a bit of a pickle there. There's a 2015 one on HBO Max, I believe, starring Michael Fassbender, but it's not the same.
No, yeah, it'd be
I want Denzel Washington Macbeth. I just from the scene, because he has like the big soliloquy at the end of Macbeth where he's talking about the tomorrow and all that shit. After he finds Lady Macbeth I think she killed herself. It usually is not overdone. Like Ian McKellen did a great version. I didn't see Fassbender's version, but the actors always put their own spin on it. But Denzel Washington's, I thought, was like really low down, like this, a real reaction. I felt like it wasn't over the top. It wasn't Shakespearean. It was like a really good reaction in the way he read that. So I want to see that movie at some point. Hopefully, I just want to rent it. Why can't I rent it? I'll spend fucking $8 to rent it.
Right.
No, you gotta fucking get Apple TV. I want it.
Gotta get that Apple TV.
I also have Hamlet I ordered and Othello. Hamlet is one I don't, other than the skull and the to be or not to be.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Hamlet, but that's the longest one I have now. And that one I was perusing it before you came over. Perusing is not the right word because people use it as perusing as like you're just flipping through. Perusing actually I think means like a deep study of. It's always used wrong. I was scanning it kind of, just looking through it. And it's like pretty long and it seems very challenging. So I don't know if I was going to tackle that now, then do the Iliad. I think I'm going to read the Iliad first. Because I didn't realize the Iliad, the edition I have, has 67, or no, the Iliad doesn't start until page 77. Oh. There's that many introductions and shit.
Wow.
And things I need to learn before I read the Iliad, so I'm like, fuck. Yeah, so Hamlet, I don't know much about. Othello, I just know because I watched the movie O back in the day, which was like about basketball and stuff, but it was actually Othello. I didn't know anything about Othello, so I was like, why is this like Shakespearean but modern? I really like that movie, so I'm interested in that, and I don't know if I'm going to read that, but I feel like I just got to read Hamlet, though, right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like the greatest play ever. I'm still also, even reading these and enjoying them, I don't like the play format.
Oh, just the way that
it's reading a play because, you have the person's name, but like the action, all the action is just like, enter stage right, and it's just like, like, I want action,
I mean, yeah, I guess I haven't ever really thought about that. Like, I would wonder, like, what a Shakespeare, like, novel or short story would look like. Because that's all he wrote was plays, right? Everything was a play. Because
I believe so. So, yeah, there would be... Well, the first novel, which was Cervantes' Don Quixote, came out when Shakespeare was alive. So there wasn't novels.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Shakespeare was aware of Cervantes or vice versa, because again, two guys at the same period of time, like the same exact time period, were writing, but they didn't live in the same country, they didn't know each other. So one guy's a great playwright, but his plays aren't being played in Spain, I don't think. And Cervantes, like I'm sure his work didn't make it over to England at the time, so they might have not known about each other, so they didn't even know that form of writing existed. Because at that time, Shakespeare time, that was it. It was plays, like that was the main form of writing. And obviously, you have the Homer epics and stuff that preceded it.
Could you imagine being what's the guy who wrote the
Dante's Inferno?
Or the first book,
Divine Comedy.
Yeah, whatever you just said. The first novel was
Don Quixote.
Yeah, could you imagine just being that guy and you're just sitting there and you're just like, I have this idea for a story, but
It's long.
it's long.
I can't read it, like, because, and it's a long novel. It's like 800, 900 something pages. But yeah, up till that point, everything was memorized.
Yeah, just coming up with like that idea.
Yeah, because stories before that were just epics that were poetic. Like, they were written as poems so you can remember them. I don't know. That's interesting. But I'm going to read the Iliad next, I think. And hopefully that's not too daunting. Like, when I was reading that, I just started reading just the actual intro of the Iliad. Not the introduction, but like the first paragraph or whatever stanzas, I don't know, of the Iliad. And I was like, okay, I understand. This is fine. Because it's not as complex as Shakespeare. It's just getting through the 77 pages of introductions and stuff. But I feel like I actually do need to know that stuff to understand what's happening. Because my Trojan era war history is not so sharp. I mainly want to read the Odyssey, obviously, because that's the good one. But the Iliad is, about war and I want sirens and juggernauts and stuff.
And I'm gonna give you, I'm gonna give you a bit of a pass and some time to, since you just got done with, Jerusalem, and you got these other big books that you've had already planned to read and stuff. So this might be more of like a next year thing. But now, since you've read Jerusalem, you have no excuse to not be able to go tackle some big Stephen King books.
I feel like I read The Stand in like 3 days.
Yeah, because like it's just as long almost, but just the enjoyment and the easiness of reading it.
I'm really interested to see how fast I could get through 1Q84 now. I mean, obviously I read it before, so I wouldn't have to, it's been long enough where it would be kind of fresh for me.
Yeah.
But just like reading this Murakami, I flew through it so fast. Like I literally read both these. If I just like combine the actual hours it took me to read both books, 2.5 probably. Like I read them very quickly. Like you said, because I told you yesterday I have 70 pages to go. I read 30 pages in like 30 minutes last night. And I read the other 30 pages today. I went outside at 4:30. I came back in at 5. And I was done. I was like, oh. So I probably go through one, because I picked 1Q84 because that's like almost 900 pages or something. It's pretty big. It's 3 books, really.
And that was you said that was the first you read of him, right?
Yeah, that was the first Miracle, which is not a good introduction. I don't think there's a bad introduction. People say that. It's like, oh, this has to be your first two. This has to be your first. No, just read what seems interesting to you.
Yeah.
That's the one you're going to like. The story for 1Q84 is what got me. I was like, oh, this sounds fucking cool. It's like, we got different dimension, like a different alternate reality, fucking weird lady masseuse that can kill you by touching you in certain spots. Like, that sounded cool to me. Like an assassin, lesbians. Ooh. It starts off with
Any twins? Any twins?
Twins? I don't remember. Probably. I don't know. Is that a trope in Murakami's work that we don't know about? Seems like it now. Oh, and I also brought this to your attention because when I got this book, I was thinking of a different Japanese author. Hold on, let me look at it, make sure I got the right one. Because, believe it or not, Spencer, my knowledge of Japanese authors aren't very deep. Like, I know the ones I know very well, but...
Unacceptable.
Name 5.
Your mom.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right. So, I thought, which this is even more interesting. Hold on. Is it Yaz? It might be Yazanari. See, I hate when you pick up the list of authors on Google because you can't just look at their books unless you type in their name specifically. Okay, so... Yasunari Kawabata, he won the Nobel Prize in Literature. I think he did that mountain book I read. So a couple years ago, I read his book, Snow Country. I really enjoyed that book. It was a beautifully written book, but it was one of those books that was more about the imagery than the story. But anyway, the only reason I brought that up is because that's who I thought this was. I picked up this when I was at the loft, Clara in the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro. And I recognized the name Kazuo Ishiguro because he also won the Nobel Prize in Literature. And, Japanese, they at least have 2, obviously, because they had the Kawabata. So they at least have 2. But Murakami's always been rumored to come in second place, and Yukio Mishima was proven that he came in second place for a while. But Ishiguro turns out is a British author, just of Japanese descent. I did not know that. But this is like a sci-fi book, but I picked it up because it sounded interesting. So we were thinking about making this our book of the month in like a few months or something, Clara in the Sun. But I heard it's really good, so I looked it up after I got it. I don't know why I brought that up. Why was I talking about that? Does it matter? Probably not.
I don't think it really does.
What are you reading next now? Because I said I'm reading the Iliad. What are you getting into?
My next novel, because after finishing the Murakami books,
How long did those take you, by the way? I didn't really ask.
it took a little bit longer, but that's just because like they were my workbooks that I read on my
lunch.
lunch and breaks and stuff. So it took me a little bit longer, but like no more than like a little over a week for each one of them. It didn't take me long to.
So probably a couple hours, really.
Yeah. Like you said, once you would put that actual time, like the
Once you
20 minutes here,
yeah.
20 minutes there, yeah, it's probably a couple hours, yeah. And that's under not great circumstances,
Yeah.
most of the time. But once I finished those, because I got done with them a little bit before you did, I've just been trying to get caught up on newer comics and trades and stuff that I've had been getting piled up. But my next novel that I think I'm going to start in the beginning of the week, I think, is going to be the second novel of Brad Meltzer, who I read his first book last year, 10th Justice. And this one's called Dead Even, and if I remember correctly,
Is it a political thriller as well?
Yeah, kind of law. It's something about
law thriller.
Yeah, it's something about like this, like I think like this power couple are getting divorced, but somehow through that there's like a lot of fucking like dirty things. And I can't exactly remember when I read like the little summary of it, but like I really liked his first one, so. I'm looking forward to seeing what this is like.
I was thinking of something, Spencer.
All right.
After I read the Iliad, and I hope I get through it fairly quickly, because I can't do this. Because I looked at it today. It's a hamburger. It's big.
That's a double cheeseburger.
Yeah. I was thinking for my next break, I read the Dead Zone.
Ooh.
And I'll pick a Yukio Mishima book for you.
All right.
I have a couple on the shelf I haven't read yet. This is pending because I haven't decided. You know what? No. Sailor Who Fell from Grace from the Sea. That's the Mishima book for you. It's short, but it's really impactful, and I think you'll really enjoy it because you get his philosophy and like his writing style really well. Because it's not like the hard boiled one. It's like an actual Mishima book, but it's not super Buddhist heavy or anything. It's not like the Sea of Fertility tetralogy that probably put you to sleep.
Yeah.
That would be your Jerusalem, I think. I feel like that would be your Jerusalem. You're just like, I can't focus.
Wait, is it just like too much like there's mundane things going on, or just like a lot of stuff?
No,
to keep
it's
straight,
just it's so strongly like Buddhist themes and stuff that like you feel like you'd have to research to understand a lot of it. But also, it's just like the language used and stuff. It's not challenging from a literary perspective, as like just the writing style. It's just like the themes and stuff are just. If you're not into like Eastern philosophy, you just probably wouldn't like it. Maybe it'd be one of those things you have to level up to. So if you read like your Journeys to the West books and stuff, and you started getting deeper into like the Far East philosophies and the Zen, the Confucianism and stuff, I think you would better appreciate it.
I've been meaning to buy because I think I was looking online because the 2 copies that you got me, I was trying to find them, and I think. The whole thing, I think it's 4 books total, I think. And I've been meaning to go and, like, get those other 2 just because then I feel like...
Just have the complete... especially because you never know. Sometimes they just, like, stop printing them.
Yeah. And then, too, I feel like if I have the whole thing there then looking at me, I'm a little bit more to be like, okay, well, I'll start it now because I have
Well, you could be like me then with, like, the Iliad and stuff. You could, like, I'll read one now, have a couple breaks, read another one.
Yeah. But, that's... what made you go with the Dead Zone?
I've been wanting to read the Dead Zone. It's a cool book.
Yeah.
I almost started it not too long ago, before Jerusalem, so I guess long ago.
The
before times, but I was going to start the... Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll read the Dead Zone. You can read Jerusalem.
No!
It's a fair trade.
No!
I could read all of Stephen King's bibliography by the time it takes you to get through Jerusalem.
I really like the Dead Zone. I always put it up there in my top books. It's for some reason because like there's something about like those first 5 novels that he wrote, and like that's the 5th one I think. And I don't know. It's that weird like early like Stephen King just like
probably because he still felt like he had a lot to prove.
Yeah,
and he was not saying he was more creative or anything. He just he was more Stephen King-y, I guess.
Well, and it'd be interesting too. Now you're gonna have to let me know reading that with all the political things that are going on now. Like I feel like it's weirdly more relatable now than ever.
Yeah, that'll be something to check out.
Did you ever watch the Christopher Walken movie?
I think I did, because there's like a shooting at the end or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember much from it. It was a long time ago, because that was like the early 80s, I think that came out. But yeah, as far as reading stuff, I think that's where I'm at. I'm trying to, I don't want to look too long term, because, my reading goal obviously is those 7 books, but I just, I think I'm going to make sure I'm not super strict with that, because then I'm going to hate reading,
Well, especially too with, you kind of got that jacked up with for however long with
Jerusalem took up till April or March or something. They messed up my timeline. But I am very happy, because like if I didn't read Jerusalem, I probably wouldn't have got those Shakespeare books.
Right.
Because I just wouldn't have been in the mind space to be able to read that kind of stuff. I got to dip my toes earlier into Shakespeare than I thought, and I enjoyed it, so now I can be like, a douche. It's my lifelong goal is to be a pompous douche.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're almost there, bud. No, you're almost there.
So when people were like, what's your favorite Shakespeare? Oh, no, man, I like Macbeth. King Lear actually is really underrated.
That's when you just start quoting different Shakespeare works.
You know what?
That you get tattooed on your forearm.
Benjamin McAvoy from the Hardcore Literature podcast always talks about committing verses to memory, and he does, and he recites them. And I'm like, I'm not British. I can't do that.
Right.
I can't, I really do have a problem with that, though. I can't commit things to memory like that. Like, people always, are able to just, lip sync to songs because they know all the lyrics and stuff. I never was able to do that. Even songs I listen to a million times and I really enjoy, if it's playing, I could probably know, I'll know the lyrics when it's playing, but if you, told me to recite lyrics that I memorize, I can't.
Yeah, I'm going to say, it's weird, some of those old ICP songs, if I try to do it to you now, but if you just played the music,
you know every word.
I could kind of start getting into it a little bit, but yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. Anyway, writing.
All right, folks, have a good night.
Spencer, you're not off the hook here. I was in a little bit of a slump. I got a lot of rejections recently, so that's kind of put me in a downer mood. I'm just like, why do I even bother? Why am I doing this? But I was working kind of on the one story, kind of on some poems that I didn't even care about. And then I was finally this week, because it's probably been a couple weeks now. Jerusalem really killed my fucking ambition to be a novelist, too.
You just the word of
Yeah, I did. This week I finally said, fuck it, sat down and got back to, working on my novel, which it might have been a month, honestly, since I worked on that last.
Yeah, because the everything that you have been working on, I at least remember you telling me about, has either been submitting stuff or just smaller other things that haven't, that wasn't your novel.
Not my ultimate goal. But I got back into my novel, and you know what? I am happy to say it was like I never even left.
Nice.
I just got right back into, because I'm, not just partially into a chapter, and I just right back in, just read a couple paragraphs, right back in, knew exactly where I was and where it's going. So I think this is going to be really good, at least for me, to finish this novel. Because, like I said, I'm still not even doing what I consider the fun stuff. The novel's interesting already, but just the stuff I really want to get into, the fantastical elements, it's all coming, man. The dragons are coming. Not really dragons, but they're going to be monsters. So I'm excited for that, and I do feel like the biggest, laziest piece of shit there. We have, Matt Holland on, and it's oh, yeah, how many books has he written? He's doing all this writing. And, we just talked to these people who were just putting out all this writing. I'm like, why aren't we putting out all this writing?
Well, even the, what was the name of the last fellow we talked to? The
Nick Olanoski?
Yeah, he's journalist, so, he's writing constantly.
But what about you, Spencer?
Not so good.
When's the last time you did some serious riddling?
Too long. I couldn't even tell you. I was in a bad, I had a real bad dry spell, and then I started having issues with my lower back and stuff like that. So then even if I did have a momentary sunlight of inspiration, it's I'm gonna step in. Oh no, I can't. No, I can't.
I can relate to that, because I hurt my back a month ago, and then it was healing, and then I re-injured it last week, and crippling pain and all that. I probably slipped a disc or something, but that's really taken out. I always like to sit in my chair to write. I can't. It hurts. I have to lean back in this chair, and I'm okay. My back today seems all right, so hopefully I'm on the right track. I'm not going to do anything too strenuous other than my whole day-to-day activity of my job.
Of life and living.
Yeah, so, that was also a stretch where I've been trying to stay very positive, still going to the gym, work at anything I can, and stretching and doing all this stuff. But I get so exhausted by the time I get home, like physically, my back is like cramping up and stuff. I just don't want to write. So this week I started, writing and work and stuff, which was good. But like up till a couple weeks ago or last week and the previous week, like I was just all fucked up. I was just like not miserable, but when you feel bad, like when you're sick. Oh, I'm really sick and I'm in the hospital. I should be able to at least write a lot. You can't. Like you can't even read because you just feel like mentally drained.
Yeah, it's like I haven't even been getting as much reading done as I could because like I couldn't find like the only like comfortable spots I had for at least like a couple weeks laying down was like either on the floor on my back. Yeah. That's the only time I could lay on my back.
So you're holding the book up right over your head.
Yeah.
That's real good for your arms.
Or like if I'm on the couch or like laying in bed, it was just face down. And like that was like...
Doesn't that almost make you think like audiobooks are the way to go?
Almost, yeah. But I have been, I started seeing a chiropractor and he got me, knock on wood. I'm feeling really, not 100%, but a lot better than what I was. So I'm actually hoping that if not starting tomorrow, because tomorrow is my personal Friday work-wise, like it's the last day I work and then I have 2 days off.
Yeah. So
I'm hoping if not after work tomorrow, at least that my 2 days off, I want to at least try to, I'm not going to try to, go too crazy and be like, oh, I'm going to try to write a whole bunch, a couple of thousand words. I want to at least something. If it's on that one, my one story that I've been working on for a while, if it's either that or I've even thought about maybe trying
something fresh,
like we
submissions or something.
Yeah, we were talking about, or we were even talking about a couple episodes ago before all of our guests that had that idea for like that AI kind of story.
Yeah,
I was thinking even just messing around with that to try to just get rid of some of the cobwebs, maybe even if it doesn't even turn into anything, just like something I can use to get like the shit words out, maybe to and then maybe go back to the main story or something like that, But what's they say, the best laid plans of mice and men and da 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 da. I never really know how that saying ends.
I don't know. I never hear anybody finish it.
Yeah, it's just like you don't have to. You just know it's not good.
Is that Shakespeare too?
Who knows? Probably.
Let me look it up. I just feel like it probably is.
Because I wonder if that's like of mice and men. Like if that's like
it's Robert Burns.
Okay.
The best laid plans of mice and men often go awry. So there's only 3 other words you have to memorize. Often go awry. That's it.
And nobody ever does.
Nobody ever does. What does mice and men mean though? Why did the mice? Okay. Oh, because the line was to a mouse. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not a big Robert Burns fan.
You like being burned.
Burned by the burn. So, folks, that's about all I got to talk about.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's all we really have.
Just books and writing. But I have been writing, so fucking big failure in the submission world. I can't get a goddamn... The problem is my fucking long stories that I'm really, really excited about, the really good stuff, you get to wait like 6 months and at least to hear back from most of those. And then, like, what do I do? If I get rejected, because you're not going to submit those to a million places because it's my good work, so I want to submit it to better places. But then if I get rejected from what, I got to wait another 6 months after. Like, yeah, it fucking sucks. And then the work I read in these journals are terrible. What am I doing wrong? Who do I not know?
The system is broken.
The system sucks. So anyway, folks, if you want to check out what we do, we don't do anything. But at DPW Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We just mainly post the podcast anymore. I haven't been posting much.
So you listen to our old episodes with all of our previous episodes with all the new guests we've had recently.
Yeah, do that. That sounds like something. You can follow Spencer. He is a Zephyr of Zamboni. Not Zamboni. Zamboni!
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense, though. Zamboni in Africa, they don't have ice.
That'd be weird.
Yeah, you are a Zimbabwe Zephyr. You're just a cool, nice, soft, gentle breeze. Fart breeze. That's his OnlyFans, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Nah. Probably not real.
The gimmick's getting a little old.
Yeah. Nah, we'll keep it up forever like your stupid names. Just keep it going for life. You can follow me at calebjameskay.com. I need to post a bunch of stories soon. I just haven't, again, with my back and everything, can't sit in my favorite chair. I've been mentally crippled. I've been at that stage of life where it's like I could do the day to day, but when you ask me to do one extra thing, I lose it. I just lose my shit. So it's like, just copy paste the story to your website. No, I can't do it. It's an insurmountable mountain. I have to fight a dragon to do it, and it's rough, but hopefully I'll get over that soon. Anyway, we thank you for listening, and we hope you check us next week when we probably have a more serious episode. I don't know if we'll have a guest. I kind of hope not, but you never know anymore.
You never know.
So thank you for listening. We'll check you next time.